Welcome to part 4 of our live recording of GM Farcaster in the podcast studio at ETH Denver. Thank you to the podcast crew at ETH Denver, especially Dan and Aaron. We rolled for 2 hours and rotated guests in and out. This episode is with Justin Hunter from Pinata Cloud, also known as Polluter of Minds, on Farcaster. Thanks so much for sitting down with GM Farcaster to chat about all things Pinata, IPFS, and frames. Polluter of Minds, Justin, come on in. Whichever one you want is up to you, blue or purple. We don't know why.
Here we go.
We can't figure out how to change the colors, so. Welcome. Lean into the mic so we hear you well.
All right, can you hear me well?
We can hear you well, but lean in because we pick up a little bit of.
All right,
yeah.
all right, we'll get
as
close
close
to
as
it.
possible.
Get close.
Perfect.
Kiss the mic.
Kiss the mic.
Welcome. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. This is great. It's finally nice to
It's great to meet you.
Good to see
It's
you.
so great to meet you because I was like, I don't know if he's here, but I don't know what he looks like. I was
that is the
looking for a
challenge, right?
llama. I was looking for like a llama pinata thing.
So I know what you look like.
yeah.
You do,
she
because I
knows.
posted pictures that you've seen.
Yes, you have.
I did.
And my PFP kind of looks like me. I made it to look like me.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I
it
don't even know if
does.
I've made that.
It does. You're right. And now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah.
It's a custom companion in a box. So.
I love that. I love that. So you are here. So do you all have a booth or any space or anything that you're doing here? You're just kind of like.
No, every ETH Denver we come and we hack.
Oh,
So
amazing. Okay,
we build.
we
How
build.
many,
I
how
love
many
this.
ETH Denvers has Pinata been at?
Pinata's been at 5 or 6 now.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
And how about you?
3.
fantastic.
Yep.
How does this stack up to the other two? How you feeling?
So I didn't come last year, so this
Okay.
is my first year here at the
At the new space.
right.
So you were at the sports
Sports Castle,
castle,
yes.
sport castle.
Yeah. So I actually like the sports castle more. It obviously could not accommodate this many people,
No.
but the vibe is very different with the sports castle. You guys have been, right?
I was just there for the first time. This is my first ETH Denver, but
Okay.
I was at the sports castle, which we renamed Pizza Castle,
Yeah.
the other night for Pizza Dow because we had Lil Nouns and Nouns was sponsoring, so I was
Right.
there.
So you can imagine
Yeah.
trying to cram all
No
of
way.
these people
Yeah.
in there,
Not
which is
even-
what made it kind of charming. It wasn't this
Yeah.
many people, but
Right.
still.
Cozy.
The
Cozier?
bathrooms never worked.
Yeah,
It was-
cozy.
Yeah.
But this is pretty amazing to see.
Yeah.
They've really done an incredible
It's
job.
huge. Yeah.
It's huge. So what is Pinata hacking on right now? Like, what is your focus? And then we have to talk about frames because
Yeah. Frames
mean,
are
but
the
let's-
thing.
is that what most people are hacking on right now, or they're doing a
Well,
little bit
we
of
did-
everything?
A little bit of everything. So normally we come into ETH Denver with an actual idea to hack on.
Okay.
This year we had a million ideas and we just kind of ran with everything. So we did a frame. You were part of the frame.
She
Am I allowed to
she
cur-
crushed
Yeah,
the
I
frame.
Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, go ahead.
I fucking love that frame.
It was awesome, right? And your team dominated.
Dominated.
Your team absolutely dominated.
That's not why I loved it, but
Yes, it was.
It was fun, but also
Super
it was fun to
fun.
win.
so
That's-
fun.
So we built the frame, but then the frog announcement happened while we were at NPC Day, which was the first day that we were all here. And so the frog framework came out.
So
And
tell us what that is.
Yeah, so we had our own framework, but Frog is way better, and it just makes it super easy to build frames and to test them. Right? They have a debugger built in, but the way
built
that
it?
what's that?
Who built the frog frame?
The team behind VM, if you're familiar with VM for the smart contract tooling, they built Frog.
Okay.
And when I was listening to the Twitter space while at NPC Day, they mentioned it's going to support middleware. And we're like, well, we need to build middleware for this immediately because we have frame
Yeah.
analytics. Pinata built that. And so as soon as that Twitter space ended, we started building frame analytics.
Wow.
Or the
Did you
middle-
just say you have frame analytics?
Yes.
Did someone
That's
just
important.
posted? Someone just posted on someone build this frame analytics.
Yeah, I
Did you respond to
just
it?
I didn't see it.
Oh,
All right.
so
And they
someone
clearly-
built
they-
it already built, I guess.
It's out there.
That's
it's
cool.
It's free. The game, the basketball game, is built using that, so you can build leaderboards with it or just track interactions.
Ooh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So,
That's
but
really
I think,
cool.
I think your original question is what we're hacking on.
Yeah.
It's everything. Today we're going to build a native Swift client for Farcaster because there's really no reference for Swift. It's all React Native or Expo. So we're going to try to do that. We're going to speed run it today and see if we can pull it off.
Amazing. That's really cool. And I'm really excited. Like,
talk about the game and the frame and like what you're like. How did that work? And then what kind of analytics do you get from that? Like, what are the different types of analytics you get?
You should talk about the
Talk
game.
about the game.
'cause you
Yeah.
dominated.
We talked about it this morning, but
Yeah, I've
talk
been talking
about
about
it
the
again.
game just nonstop because I actually don't
She's
win anything.
obsessed with
I
the
actually
game.
don't win anything.
She won a basketball game. Let's talk
You-
about that. She's
yeah.
5 feet
You won
tall.
the adoration of all of Farcaster.
That's
what
right.
you
Aw.
Yeah,
Aw.
it's the love. It's
Yeah.
the love. But yeah,
Friends,
so
friends we meet along the way.
so talk about how the frame worked and what you had to do.
So the frame is a simple game, and like all frames, image with buttons. So you kind of click through, start your game, you pick your team, 1 of 4 people. It was me and three
And
people.
three people who lost.
Yeah, the losers.
And the
Three
losers.
three
Sorry,
NPCs.
sorry, DF.
Who's
He's
coming on
supposed to be next. I don't know. We'll see if he shows up. He
Great.
may not show because you beat him.
I trolled him this morning too about it, and then he sent me a ghost. So maybe that was ghost us. Okay. So you choose your team, and then it's tells you the rules of the game. On the next screen, try to click as close as possible to 3 seconds, and the closer you get, the higher chance of shooting your basket. By the way, it's March Madness. Tournament's going to begin. Very thematic. Liked it. And then you click, and then it does the little random, and it tells you whether you either got your shot or you didn't, and then it adds up your points. I think every hour it resets.
Yeah,
the game
resets
resets.
every
so
hour.
the game is an hour,
Oh, cool.
and anyone can play. So
I
have
totally
people
missed
playing
it
on my
because I
behalf.
was here and busy and I missed it completely.
It's still out there. You can play.
Okay. Oh,
You can still help.
I can still.
I
Yours. Oh, it's not over.
No,
I thought it
every
was-
hour
ends.
it's a new.
Nothing- never ends. It's every
It
hour. there's
never
another game.
ends. We got to
Oh
keep
wait,
going.
never ends. Like
Never
it's
ends.
infinite.
We would have to turn it off. It's infinite.
I think we need an end time. She wants a trophy.
Yeah.
I don't think
No,
anybody's
we
catching
play
up to
infinite games.
Okay, infinite
Play
games.
positive sum, infinite
Okay.
games.
Yeah.
So,
That's,
it was super fun, but I was on a plane when I was doing it. So like the frame clicking,
Oh, yeah.
the latency between when I clicked start and then when the next image showed up was
And then also trying to click the 3
dreadfully
seconds.
slow.
Yeah.
So I was like 1, 2, 3, click, and then I went to the next frame and it said you clicked at 14 seconds. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
was
that's
not
the
actually-
challenge of frames.
Yeah.
But the analytics part is what powers
that's
all
really
of
interesting.
all of the data, right? So we showed how long you click or how long the click was. That's part of analytics, but also that reset function where it resets every hour. The analytics that we track for frames is time series, and so we just look at that hour period, and then it goes back because we have the time series.
And you're tracking, I guess, either FID or wallet of whoever's doing the click, what the actions are.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
as a develop, like this is a simple prototype of a game, but you can imagine
Right.
any
Yeah,
action.
what else you could do,
Like,
right.
click,
It-
click a
it's-
button, make a choice, and you've got that data.
Yep.
And
it's
where,
so
do I get
simple.
that data in Pinata? Like
Yeah, we have
so
a dashboard in Pinata, but we also have APIs because Farcaster's a lot of developers.
APIs.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so you don't have to use the dashboard in Pinata. You could use the APIs and build your own dashboard, build your own game outside of frames, whatever you want.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
We gotta think of some things. I think we gotta think about this.
Apparently, that's
Yeah,
what
so-
we've learned that we're very good at building mini games at Pinata because that's all we think about, I guess.
That's right. Well, it's a pinata. There
Yeah.
you go. Pinata's a game. Yeah, and I was going to say for those who may not know what pinata is, just in case I don't know how they wouldn't, but let's say they're new to crypto or they're just new to the ecosystem. Can you just give a quick what is pinata? What's your focus, and then talk about how you guys have now sort of moved towards Farcaster and looking at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Pinata is, at its core, a pinning service for IPFS. We launched in 2018.
Oh wow, I
as-
didn't realize it was around
Yeah.
that long. I think the first time I used it was 2022 for
Okay.
a project I did.
For
Yeah.
NFTs, probably?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That was obviously Pinata's big break is 2020, 2021 NFTs. But we've been around since 2018. We were
Wow.
the second IPFS pinning service
Oh, wow.
after Infura. And Infura was focused on Ethereum nodes and then also had the pinning service. So we did that, and then Farcaster has been on our radar for a year and a half now. And it's funny going back to old emails and old Slack messages when it was still testnet Farcaster. I was talking with Kyle, our CEO, about running a hub because it's so aligned with what we do with IPFS. It just wasn't the right time. It was still testnet. There was a couple thousand people on the network, but we kept an eye on it. And now that things have picked up, it makes sense to run a hub. So we are, in addition to IPFS, we're running a free Farcaster hub. We're building APIs around the hub as well to make it easy for developers to build clients, to build bots, to build frames. And then, of course, we talked about analytics. So we've got frame analytics. We're
That's huge.
Big fans of that. But yeah, it all works together, though. If you're building on Farcaster, you need media. That's IPFS.
Amazing. That's really, really, that was a great, perfect summary. I love that.
Thank you.
What else? It's perfect. You've got it down. You've got it down. We are really bad with elevator speeches, pitches completely. That was perfect. Because I usually just wander off onto other things, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, let me go back to what this is. So what do you have? So what are you excited about? Like when you look at Farcaster and you think about Pinata together, like what excites you? Like what do you see as sort of how do these work together in the future?
I mean, I think they align perfectly for the reason I mentioned before. Farcaster's all open data, right?
Yep.
But there's no media. It's all just JSON, right? It's all text. What you're missing is media, and right now that's links. What it actually reminds me of and why we're so excited about it is when NFTs first started taking off in about 2020, everybody's locked up because of the pandemic and they're trading NFTs. A lot of those NFTs had images and then eventually videos that pointed to like Dropbox.
Right.
And the same thing is happening with Farcaster. So we already know, like Dan's talked a lot about why they use Imager, however you say it, for images. But everybody else is also using these very centralized but also closed
Just before we move, have there been any kind of like high-profile centralized NFTs that have disappeared?
Oh yeah, tons. Wow. Yeah.
I was like, I know in theory it could.
Yeah.
But they have.
Yeah,
like,
there were.
gone.
Yes.
So you own your NFT, which is a pointer.
Right.
That is immutable. That never goes away. But the actual art behind it.
Yeah, and you try to load it, which it was a problem that people recognized pretty quickly with NFTs. And I think that's going to happen with Farcaster, and why we're so committed to it, because you're going to need media. And so if we provide all these tools to build the apps on Farcaster, and then we already have our core business of IPFS, it just aligns perfectly.
Love that. Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me, and I loved the one of the early frames was just it was like a click through of like different images, but pointing back to Pinata.
Yes.
Like it was just very simple, but it was like, oh, this is really cool. This is a great way because you can only, because of the limitations of Farcaster, because the limitations of how many images you can see at one time and upload at one time. I think it's now 2, but I still only get 1, and that doesn't ever seem to work with more than 1. So that makes it very easy to, like, if I want to share all the pictures from ETH Denver that I've been taking, I can just upload them to Pinata, pop them in a frame, and that's, here we go. And that makes it so simple.
We learned very early that Warpcast, the main client, actually supported IPFS images. If you just pasted the link and you had a query parameter on there, nobody was going to do that, but it supported it. And then we were very fortunate that Woj Supercast chose to use Pinata. So whenever somebody uses Supercast, videos, the images, those all run through IPFS.
I didn't know that. That's really good to know. I did not know
that.
that
Alone, I mean, as if I needed more reasons, but that alone is a reason to use Supercast. So if I'm on Supercast, upload a picture, it doesn't go to Imgur or whatever, it goes to IPFS.
Yep.
Huh. Yep. I didn't know that either.
Same with video.
Using Pinata.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And I just got the Supercast account when there was like that rush of activity, and Warpcast started going down. I'm like, okay, this might be a good time for me to have a backup.
Yeah, every time Warpcast goes down, everybody's on Supercast.
Everyone's on Supercast. And also because they're eventually going to have teams, which is really going to be helpful for us to be able to manage the same account and things like that. But this is another really great reason. And I was unaware of that. So that's very cool. So that was we learned some things today.
I'm happy to educate.
Justin, what else we're wrapping up. These are rapid fire little mini interviews. We definitely have to find time for something a little bit longer, more deep, but what should people know about Pinata? Where do you want to point them to? Any kind of call to action that you want to leave them with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the people that are going to be listening to this are largely Farcaster developers. I want people to know, apparently people don't know we have frame analytics, so they should know this.
That's amazing, yeah.
Frame analytics, it's free. But also the hub. That's where everything starts.
Yeah.
If you're building in Farcaster, you need a hub. When you're ready for images, Pinata's there. When you're ready for videos, but just start with the stuff that we've put out there for builders in Farcaster. The hub, frame analytics, the APIs, all of that.
and you're Polluter of Minds.
Yes.
On Warpcast, and I have one last question about that. What is that? Where did that come from?
It
I
came
have
from,
to ask this question.
It came from, so I got my MFA in creative writing in
Oh, wow.
2017. And I just think of writing
This is our second
as...
MFA today. That's kind of crazy. Like we
Who's the other?
photography earlier. Like,
Oh, nice.
That was kind of crazy. Oh, wow.
Matthew B.
Oh,
Matthew
cool.
B. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
From Juicebox. Yeah.
But yeah, so the the thought is that when you're writing, you're actually like influencing the way that people think, right? That's the power of writing. And then I spun it to, I think it was like an old Captain Planet anti-drug commercial that was like mind pollution was people.
Oh, that's funny.
So I was like, I'm just gonna
You
spin
say
off of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank you.
for being here. Are you going to be at the Farcaster meetup tomorrow?
No, I fly out on Saturday. But I was at the unofficial one last night, which was awesome.
We weren't invited.
Everybody was invited.
I
There was
know.
no
We're
invited.
joking.
didn't
We're
know
joking.
about it.
This is now a bit that we're continuing. We weren't invited, and we're blaming Cameron, just
Kinda-
for no reason.
No, that
whatsoever.
sounds fair. I like
Okay,
that.
and that's what everyone keeps saying, and that sounds.
How was
fair.
that meetup?
Oh, it was great. It was way more people than I thought were going to be.
How many people were there?
Probably 60.
What?
The whole bar got taken over.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
I
That's
love
amazing.
Farcaster.
Yeah, it was so great.
Just the best people
Yep.
in the world. Honestly, like it's my favorite thing to do is just hang.
So where else are you hanging out then today?
We'll be
tomorrow?
around here, but then also at the across the way, the arena,
the Bidler Hub?
pits. Yeah, the
Hacker
pits.
area? Yeah.
The hacker area.
Yep, we'll be
Awesome.
over there hacking away.
Well, I'll be there with Toady, who's back
Okay.
there, who's going to slide over here for the Nouns Funds community later today. So we'll be
Awesome.
sponsoring some food
All right, I love
around
that.
like I think 6 or 7ish. So if you need some food, we'll be there sponsoring some food
Very
for the people who are hacking away down there.
Very cool.
So it's pretty cool. Well, thank you so
Awesome.
much
Yeah.
for being here. We hope to
Thank you guys
connect
both.
again.
This is great.
Thank you.